We're here now. Finally, we had some technical difficulties. Instead of starting at 8, we're starting at 8:30, but we're here. I've got Aaron Adele as always, and we're joined by Ross at the Coolest Cool.
At the Coolest Cool.
And we learned last time that by pointing at things, it gets all messed up when the final video comes out. So in replay, Aaron won't actually be there; he'll be over here, and
Fair
Ross
enough.
might be up there. I don't know. we really won't know how the configuration of the screens comes out. I basically wanted to jump right in and start with a quick conversation about what really matters when it comes to social media. And I, of course, like to bring everything back around to music, because I think a lot of people in the music industry are missing the mark when it comes to social media. But before we get into any specifics, I've heard this term thrown around. Aaron's thrown it around quite a bit. Vanity metrics.
Right.
And are you familiar with this, Ross?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Vanity metrics is
running
rampant.
Are they running rampant? What is what are some examples of the vanity metrics, and what are their contrasting real metrics? Like what would you say is a false test, and what would the real test of that same thing that people think it's a test of actually be?
One of the examples would be like in the email piece. In the world of kind of locking in those email subscribers, it's very easy to get their email. The question is how many of those people are actually listening to you. So once you have their emails, are they actually opening them? Are they clicking the links that are within them? That's really when you start to find out whether or not you're talking to an audience that actually cares about what you're saying, what you're sharing, or whether or not they just signed up for a newsletter or a game, or if they signed up for a prize that you may have been giving out, something like that. You really want to have those people who are actually engaged with your email list, not just signing up for to win a prize. Before I end my ramble and pass it back over to you guys, thanks for inviting me to jump on the Blab with you. Excited to chat. I know me and Brad go way back to the days of Foursquare, so it's good to connect and see what's going on in you guys' world, and I'm excited to chat with you over the next little bit.
For sure,
Likewise.
thanks. And I notice as well that you have quite a few Blab followers. I figured I was maybe introducing you to something new when I invited you to the Blab, and
Right.
I pop open your profile here, and it's 31 followers, and which is what, 10 times more than me, and so I'm the newbie, but I'll be your host for this session.
It's
Aaron,
true.
do you
It's funny.
agree with oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ross.
I used to, I was active on Blab in the early days, back when you could only log in using Slack. So it originally didn't allow you to log in with Twitter. But then I decided that I was going to get married. And when I got married, I went on my honeymoon. And when I came back, Blab blew up, and it became this crazy thing that everybody is using now. So it was a nice surprise to come back to Blab launching. So it was in beta when I left, but now it's just taken over the world.
Wow, I thought we were in the early days right now, but there were some early days.
There was
beta in the corner when you.
Oh yeah, it's definitely still the early days. I mean, I just got married like last month, so they're just moving quick.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Aaron, do you agree with this idea of the email vanity metric of like somebody saying, well, you want to hire me because I have an email list of 10,000 people, versus you want to hire me because I get a 30% click-through rate on my emails? Or is click-through even a thing with emails? I don't know. What do you think?
It is, yeah.
I don't have an email list. Nobody is subscribed to me. So I can't really speak to that. I mean, I manage email lists, but personally, I don't have a personal email address that is all about me. So it's really hard for me to speak to that. What I can tell you, I'll be very transparent with some information about Twitter, which I can share with you. I have just under 1,400 followers on Twitter. Okay. And when I look at the engagement and you know, my analytics, I'm seeing that each of my tweets is getting an average, I would say, of about 75 views per tweet. So that 1,400 number is completely meaningless to me. Okay?
Right.
It's the 75 that matters, because those are the people that whose timelines my tweets are loading in. Now, how I got to 1,300 and something followers that aren't even active is beyond me. I'd really love to figure that out someday. But for now, 75 is pretty good, because Brad has around 100 followers, and we just figured out that he has about the same number of views on his tweets that I do. So
Crazy.
He can feel like he's doing pretty well, and
Right.
I can feel like I'm doing pretty well. Like, we're doing fine. Like, 75 is a lot of people, right?
It's true.
And you know, I find that, you know, the a lot of the stuff that I want to be shared and engaged with, I'm getting satisfactory engagement for having only 75 people looking at my tweets. The ratio is good in that regard. So the number of people that are following me is completely meaningless, and it sort of makes me wonder. You know, the other day I got retweeted by an account that has 25,000 followers, just as an example, and the tweet only received 100 more views than my average. Like, what does that tell you? You know, isn't that that's pretty sad that
It's
these
crazy.
people are running around with this number that people like, they're riding on this wave of this number. Here's how many followers I have, but that's not even. They're looking at the wrong number.
Right.
To bring that back to the music industry or to music promotion, there's a lot of noise about who the top followed musicians are, musical acts are. You talk about Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift, right? Now, Taylor Swift probably has the most engagement out of all of those.
Mm-hmm.
But how many, like, I don't know if they'll ever come out with the actual metrics, the analytics, if they'll actually publish, hey, you know, we actually only get about 35 people viewing tweets on these 3 million followers that we have. Right. Like, maybe it's too embarrassing for them to actually publish publicly. And so there's all this emphasis when you look at the articles that are written about music and Twitter about the number of followers. Well, you know, if you get if you can get a retweet from, you know, X and X celebrity, you will, you know, you'll get exposure to these, you know, 350,000 followers. Well, you know, clearly that's not true, but do people really know that? And I don't know. I guess that's just one of those things that has to kind of spread, you know?
I don't think you could get anybody to sit down like I just did and give you the raw numbers that I just gave you, and with any sense of pride. Like, nobody would want to admit that. I don't even know if people are looking at their Twitter analytics or if they even know how.
I haven't been looking at mine until you just started saying that. So I just visited over to my own Twitter to see kind of what my ratios were, but it's not something that I've looked at. And I think the whole analytics element of views is pretty recent. Like, I don't think Twitter rolled it out until probably a couple months back. Before, the only metric that we really had was whether or not somebody's retweeting your tweet or if they're giving you a favorite, which is now a like. But those were the only metrics. So it was interesting. I just now, the heart. So I just checked for the first time in probably a couple months to see the reach, and it is interesting. But I don't think a lot of people are. I don't know if a lot of people are fully aware.
I'm waiting to see if you're going to share it with us.
I'll share it. Yeah. So I'm looking at it now. For the most part, I'm looking at reaching, it looks like I reach about on average 630 people with my tweets.
Per tweet?
I've got about, per tweet, yeah. I've got about 630 impressions.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not bad. The some of them have, it really depends on the type of article. Like I'm learning right now while we're on this thing, which is different because I've never just sat here and looked at my impressions. But certain tweets have engagement. So for example, if I share an image, the engagement is through the roof. So I've got like a bunch of retweets, 14 retweets, 10 likes, detail expands, retweets, all of that stuff. But then on the links themselves, the engagement is completely different, where it's solely focused around the actual clicks. But if there's no image with the tweet, then it's got less clicks, which is funny because I've read studies that say if you tweet with an image, it increases the likelihood of having engagement. So really what I'm doing is just validating that study that I read a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on your personal, like the @thecoolestcool Twitter account.
Yeah.
Now you were also co-founder of a couple of different services, let's call them. One is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, which is the Hustle and Grind blog. Aaron, and for the public who may or may not be familiar with Hustle and Grind, they send out a box. It's monthly.
Every month, yeah.
Every month they send out a box with some coffee and a mug and some literature on social media or how to improve your game, how to step up your levels.
Take your hustle to the next level. Exactly.
So I follow that pretty religiously. And
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It's true. When there's an infographic, especially on the Instagram account or whatever, I've actually printed out several of those and pinned them up on my desk at work.
Love it.
So it's true when you have an infographic or an image of some kind, people are more connected to that message.
Right.
But are you getting the same kind of ratio for your tweets? I mean, obviously, well, first, I mean, tell us how Hustle and Grind is doing from when you started to now. Has it exceeded your expectations, and what's next for that?
It's definitely, thanks for following along. I know I've seen you comment on blogs. You've been always engaging with their stuff on Instagram. I love the support and I really appreciate it. Hustle and Grind has taken on a life of its own. It's been crazy to watch. It's one of those things that I didn't know exactly where it would go. I thought it would just be a coffee subscription service for people, but we're truly getting emails every single day from people who are saying that we're like changing their lives, which has been pretty cool to read. People saying that they're about to quit their job, which is scary. Don't get me wrong. People are reading our blog posts and saying that they're about to quit their job sometimes is a little insane. But we're inspiring people to chase their dreams, which is always great. We've got about 50,000 followers on Instagram now, which is great. The engagement on Instagram is one of those things that was a huge surprise for us. It wasn't exactly a channel that we thought would drive the majority of our business, but it's ended up being the biggest driver. Our channel is driving our Instagram channel in particular is driving a significant amount of traffic and revenue for the company. And one of the things that we found over the last little bit is that our content is specifically driving a significant portion of our revenue as well. So it's been pretty cool to see that people want our insights and our information and they're willing to pay for it. So we've been pushing that on Instagram. People are loving it. People are subscribed to our newsletter. We have subscribers from all over the world, which is insane. I'm getting emails from people in Africa and Cuba and Mexico, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, you name it, engaging with their stuff. So one of the things that I would recommend musicians and anyone getting into the music scene to not sleep on is Instagram. It's one of those channels that is still a lot of people wouldn't say it outright, but it's the wild, wild west. Like the results that you can receive on Instagram just from building relationships with other people, getting them to share your content, tell your story, and build those one-to-one relationships, because you can get into their direct messages very easily. You can send them those messages. You can build relationships with people. It's something that I think musicians really could leverage and capitalize on, whether it's to promote a show, whether it's to promote a new album. It's an insanely underrated tool.
Yeah, to give you a little bit of music perspective on it, I follow Timbaland on Instagram, and he is constantly putting short video clips of whatever the new single that he's working on, whatever new artist is in his team, that he's helping collaborate with, and they're getting 80,000, 100,000, 200,000 likes and comments just constantly streaming through. So it's definitely a powerful thing, and I think it just hasn't crossed into that commercialization yet.
It's true. Yeah.
That Twitter did. And Twitter used to be the place where people could go and engage with their favorite celebrities, their favorite personalities, and feel like they were being heard. And I think that is more and more now Instagram. Aaron,
it's true.
Do you have any input on the Instagram front? Anything? Any favorite tools or impressions from using that? Or not?
Is he still with us?
Are you waiting for me to answer that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I don't use anything extra with Instagram. I don't even use Instagram's filters. I just put a picture up with a caption, and then I just walk away. I'm probably the least. I'm probably using Instagram to the least of its potential.
And what are the results like for using very, very little of it?
Well, there are people that know me, and there are people that consistently like my photos just because that they like when I put up a photo. But I'm not really using Instagram to reach out in the way that I'm using Twitter to reach out. So yeah, I mean,
it's just not a channel you've kind of spent a lot of time on. Yeah, I think it's
for me. It's I don't know. I'm not really. I find that a lot of people take pictures, post a lot of pictures of themselves as well on Instagram, and I don't do a lot of that. From time to time, there will be a picture of me, but it's usually a picture that someone else has taken, as opposed to a selfie.
Right.
And I fully understand that probably one of the first things that you need to embrace if you want to do well on Instagram is the art of the selfie. I've noticed that anytime I post a picture on Instagram and I'm in the picture, those pictures get the most likes. So I definitely have some people out there who want to see me
with a beard.
They want to see me, and they don't get it very often. So I guess when on the odd time that it does happen, that they like that the most. Or do you find that people just like photos that have the person who runs the account in the photo? Do you find that those get the most likes? Like, is this typical?
I think it depends on your audience. Like, I think for you, if your audience is primarily people who you've actually built like a real meaningful one-on-one relationship with, then it's more likely that they're going to engage with your content because you're a person that they're connected with. If you're sharing content on Instagram and you're doing it from a business perspective, then I think there's a lot of different things that you could say drive likes, and it's built on like the actual like psychology around humans and why we share different things on social media. So you're going to like things that connect with you on a level that make you feel as if you're you're supporting a cause, for example. So Paris, horrible incident happens. People put up a picture of the flag. People are going to like that. People share things that are going to represent them or makes them feel good about themselves. So if you're sharing something that's inspirational, people are going to resonate with that and they're going to like the photo. If people see some type of content that you're putting out there that is truly valuable and provides them with insight or information they didn't know, so maybe it's a surprising fact, they're going to like that. And if you put up something that's awe-inspiring, so you talk about, remember the Red Bull guy who jumped out of space, that type of content as well is going to generate some likes for you. So I think it really depends on your audience and what you're trying to do. The approach I always like to take is what I call the 3 E's. So I like to focus on content that engages people, educates them, or entertains them. So if it doesn't do one of those 3 things, then I'm probably not going to try to put it up on social. You look at the Hustle and Grind account earlier today, we asked a question and we said, what would you tell yourself 5 years ago that you wish you would have known? And then hundreds of people go on and they comment and they engage with us. Mm-hmm. Taylor Swift did something similar. She put up a post about bullies, I think. And girls from around the world were talking about their stories. And she was jumping into the comments and having conversations back and forth with these girls saying, it's going to be okay, it gets better, that kind of thing. So I think engagement, educate, and entertain is really a great philosophy. And one other thing is dog photos.
Yeah.
Put up pictures of dogs, you're good.
There's more photos of this dog on my Instagram than there are of me, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We want to try and keep it sort of half an hour. We want to try and keep it nice and condensed for people who want to watch the replay and just have a short period of time to spend with us. So I do want to move into your other venture, Ross, which is Crate. And Aaron and I discovered Crate sort of accidentally when you put out a request on Twitter asking for anybody who has a Buffer account to help out with a little project. And I was like, all right, I'm interested. What is this project? And I'd never heard of Crate, obviously, before. And you're like, well, can you sign up for Crate, attach your Buffer account? And, I just want to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Got into it. And as soon as I figured out, okay, this is what this does, and I'll get you to explain that in a second. I sent it to Aaron, and then I screen captured the text message conversation, the iMessage conversation, and sent it to you.
Yeah.
I don't remember giving consent for that.
Because it was just so perfect. It was us just having a conversation about different social media tools. At the beginning of the conversation is me saying, hey, my friend Ross, invented this thing. Why don't you go check it out? Then we talk about other social media tools. And then out of nowhere, he comes back with, this Crate is saving my life.
Yeah.
And it was just the best reaction to have. So what is Crate, and where did you see the gap that you wanted to fill?
Well, thank you guys for checking it out. I mean, we've just recently hit the 1,000 user mark, so that's an exciting accomplishment for us. The gap was essentially like, I've been doing community management. I've been managing social media accounts for pretty much my entire career, dating back to as soon as I got out of university, and I was doing it for the CBC. Managing accounts, finding content, sharing it on Twitter, sharing it on Facebook, sharing it on LinkedIn, blah, 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 blah. It goes on. I just got tired of it. I was like, okay, I'm sharing all of this content. There's got to be an easier way. Technology is pretty smart. We can figure out a way to actually fill this gap. So what Crate currently does is it takes keywords that you would provide it. So you would type in something like guitars, you could type in something like marketing, you could type in something like social media, indie music, whatever you want. Crate then takes those keywords, analyzes them, and then identifies the best articles around the web that you can share on your own Twitter and social media networks. You can add in usernames. What we'll do then is we'd scan that person's last 500 tweets, identify the best articles that they've shared, and then put those into your feed. We would look at things like a URL. If you type in a domain, and we'd identify the best blog posts or articles that have been published from that site. and we'd add those to your feed as well. And then we have the scheduling system that allows you to schedule that content to go out as you're going through your day-to-day. So as we're sitting on this blab, I have no hands, like I'm not actually tweeting, but I think I have sent out a tweet from Crate. And that's just scheduled to go out because it's all built in, so you can actually schedule the content to go out in advance. So it's been a great launch. The users are loving it. We've got a lot of crazy plans. We aren't mobile friendly yet, but that's definitely on the roadmap. And we've got a lot of pretty cool things on our roadmap for what we're looking to bring to life for Crate.
Amazing. So if I understand, I mean, we've been trying it for a little while. For me, I put in a whole ton of keywords.
Yeah.
And I got the same results. I got, repetitive results almost.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, for me, what works best is more crates,
right?
Fewer keywords.
Yeah.
But how do the keywords relate to each other? Should you put in, instead of music business, should you put in music and business? And would that generate more results? Tell us a little bit about how to make better crates.
Right. So my approach is very similar to yours. I have about 6 different crates made, and I have each of them broken out with very niche keywords. So I have one crate and it's called social media marketing. And in that, I will create keywords like social media marketing instead of having just social and then media and then marketing as separate keywords. So you want to use broader terms to get niche results. If you put in a keyword like music, you're going to receive a lot of content. You're going to get topics that have any mention of the word music. So you're putting yourself at risk of receiving content that's not necessarily very relevant to you, versus if you type in music, the music business, or the business of music, and you start typing in keywords like that, you're more likely to get content that is specific to you. I would also look at finding, for example, like Forbes.com/music, if that's a thing. I don't know if it's actually a thing, but plugging in that URL into Crate would search that category within Forbes to ensure that you're getting very niche content built around that. So what I would recommend is you build multiple crates with niche focuses in each, and then every morning you can go through, identify them, and then just schedule them from there. One of the things that we are looking to do is to kind of take this feedback like you just provided and really tighten up this experience. So I will be dropping you a line after to figure out what was in your crate and how we can make that better.
Okay. Is there a relationship, like if I were to put in, as you said, Forbes/music, and then put in like billboard.biz, and then put in musicbusinessworldwide.com, and put all 3 of those into one crate, will it bring back the top posts from all 3 of those? Is that the idea? Okay.
Exactly. So it would bring back the top posts from all 3. So you would be able to name that crate something like top music business websites, and then you just have those in your crate, and then that's where you're going to get those results from. Then what I would do is look at like the best influencers. So think about people who share content about the music industry. Maybe it's a journalist, maybe it's a actual business professional. Put their Twitter handles in a crate, and then have their content directly fed into your feed, and then start sharing it as well. Picasso or Steve Jobs said it, great artists don't copy, they steal. So steal their content, steal what they've been publishing, and just drive that into your crate and then schedule it on your own.
Amazing. Now, what are the benefits of this? I mean, clearly, we all want to share good content. We want to get that engagement because it's stuff that people are interested in. Let's bring it home to the music industry. What are the benefits of good content?
At the end of the day, if you're in the music industry, you're in the content industry. Every album you produce is a piece of content that's being distributed. So when it comes to the quality of content and sharing that, you know that you have to do it. You know that your albums need to be solid. You know that the tracks that you're creating need to be great. You know that content is important. What a lot of people don't understand is that content curation is also a form of content marketing. So people will follow you if they can rely on you to be someone who is constantly delivering great content to their life. So I've been able to build my following, for example, as being someone who's constantly sharing content about entrepreneurship or sharing content about marketing, or things that are technical and technology based. That's why people follow me, because they want to read that stuff. Because they're following me, because I'm sharing that content, I then have access to them when I want to roll out a book, when I want to release a new blog post, when I want to share something. So what musicians can do is take a very similar approach. The way I look at it, I've looked at my entire career in the lens of music. Every time I share something for free, it's a mixtape. And then after I release all of my mixtapes, I'm going to release my album, and I'm going to ask for some dollars as a result. So release this content for free by curating it and by using other people's content and just sharing it, building relationships with people, and then take a step out and say, okay, now it's time for me to sell after you've built your following and built that relationship with hundreds of thousands of people.
Right. So there's a little bit of indirect marketing there where you're building your following based on the great content that's out there that's going to enrich people's lives. And then eventually you get to the point where you say, okay, I've given you all this great stuff for free. Right. Now it's time to bring it on home to Papa and give me the $4.99 on the GoFundMe to get my album started. Or, I want to do a tour. I need, support. And here are my dates. And
100%.
And so that
there's a direct relationship between the amount of tweets you share and the number of followers you have. And the reason why is pretty simple. If you share more content, it's an increased chance that somebody's going to retweet your content. And if somebody's retweeting your posts, if somebody's interacting with your posts, that means their followers are going to see you, which increases the likelihood that you're going to get followers as a result. So engagement and sharing that content is king. And Brad, you know that from back with the Foursquare Day that we ran. We were sharing content about Foursquare every single day because we knew that people would share it. And as more people shared it, more they knew about the event. So it's a great opportunity for people, regardless of your industry, to kind of get your name out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to wrap up real quick, I want to go around the horn and talk very quickly about your favorite tool that maybe isn't mainstream yet. What's your favorite social media tool that isn't mainstream yet? I mean, obviously, Crate, but besides Crate. And let's start with Aaron, because we haven't heard from Aaron in a little bit.
I can't get back to me. I can't think of anything right now.
Well, I'm personally, I don't know. I found out about Buffer from Aaron not that long ago, and it's absolutely revolutionized the way that I even look at the internet. The way that I now go through my emails in the morning, and the way that I now consume information. So I'm consuming information for two reasons. One, to educate myself, but the thing that's really motivating me is to see if it's good enough to share. Right. And to queue up and to not have to share it right in that moment. So I'll read 5, 6, 7 different articles every morning, and I might add 1 or 2 to my buffer. And so, that's new to me, and I know it's not new to everybody, but that's going to be my favorite tool. Ross, what about you?
So it's a similar tool in the sense that it allows you to schedule content in the future, but it's for Instagram. So it's called Latergram. It allows you to schedule your posts in the morning and it actually go during the day. It's against Instagram's policies to allow you to just automatically have it go up and be shared. So what Latergram does is it sends you a push notification and it'll say, do you want to publish this post? You say like, yes, then takes you to the app. You have all of the content already ready, the caption, the image, and then you just press share and then it's gone. So Latergram, it's a great product. I don't want to misquote, but I think they're from Canada. If they are, go Canada. But I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on that. That's one of the reasons why I decided to support them, but I'm not 100% sure if they actually are. But Latergram, I definitely recommend people check it out. It's one of the tools in the Hustle and Grind toolkit that we couldn't live without.
Okay, excellent. So Ross has clearly already done this research. and has the hustle and grind toolkit. So, he had to pull out of that bag of tricks right there. Did you have anything rise to the surface there, Aaron?
Yeah, I've actually been using Snapchat a lot lately. And for the longest time, I didn't touch it, didn't go near it, because I had this idea in my head as to what it was for. I thought it was just for kids. I thought it was just for selfies. But then I had a couple of people who were close to me ask me, almost demand that I go on Snapchat and use it. So I did, and they really like what I'm doing with it. But what I do with Snapchat is I don't advertise it to the masses. I sort of use it like my phone number. I give it to close people who are close to me, people who, as I made an analogy the other day, people who I would invite into my home. If I don't know you very well and we're just kind of acquaintances, you're not really gonna come into my Snapchat thing, right?
Fair.
So it's I guess a way for people who don't get to see me very often but wish they could. I also have one of my wife's cousins is 18 years old, and she loves Snapchat. She was so happy to hear that I was on it, and she's just gone away to university this year. And she's a little homesick. So when she sees me and sees me talking about stuff and sees my photos, I think it makes her feel a little better. So, that's what I've been using. And I never thought, like, if you'd asked me 6 months ago if I'd be a Snapchat user like I am now, I would have said, no way. What's that? It's for kids, right?
No, I only recently got into it, and I'm not even really into it yet. I just I'm feeling it out. It came in. It's one coworker in particular that I've been Snapchatting with quite a bit because he no longer works with us. So it's an easy way to stay in touch with him just in the moment. Hey, like, this is what your buddies back at your old work are doing now. And an easy way to kind of keep them in the loop with that. Maybe that needs to be the way that I connect with other people through that. It has to be that one-on-one sort of I miss you kind of message. But yeah, Snapchat, I never would have thought, again, if you asked me 6 months ago, never would have thought I would have used Snapchat. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for the chat.
Thank you.
I'm going to go, I'm going to go off the record or pause recording. This has been part 2 of my Blab series. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but we're going to try and do one every week. And I appreciate you guys helping me out with it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me on.